Hello and welcome to BOI Weekly. I'm Kayode Alayande. Toilet papers and serviettes have become an essential part of our lives. We use them several times a day for different purposes. But have you ever wondered how they come about? Well, today on the show, you'll see the process through which waste papers are converted into what is known as jumbo reels, and then further broken down to usable forms like toilet papers, facial tissues, and serviettes, just to name a few. Our destination is Macdon Industries Limited, located in Onitsha, Anambra State. When the managing director, Emira Anyoha, decided to cross from trading to industry, he couldn't think of a better partner to fund the rather ambitious and capital-intensive project than the Bank of Industry. As a result of BOI's support, Macdon's jumbo reel factory is one of a kind in the southeastern parts of the country, providing hundreds of direct and indirect jobs. Also on the program today, the Bank of Industry's state officer in Anambra, Monday Ojigada, talks about the Bank of Industry's operations and strategic partnerships in the region, as well as BOI's justification for supporting Macdon Industries Limited. Stay close. Sanitary wares like toilet papers and serviettes are essential at homes, schools, parties, offices, and hospitals. Little wonder they're in such a high demand. Paper recycling is the process of turning waste paper into new paper products, most of which are sanitary in nature. The conversion of waste paper to jumbo reels involves three categories of raw materials. These are mill broke, pre-consumer, and post-consumer wastes. Even though jumbo reel production remains a very cost-intensive enterprise because of the highly technical and mechanical infrastructure required, the business promises huge returns and the raw materials can be sourced locally. The huge cost of machinery and operation is not enough reason to deter the managing director, Macdon Industries Limited, who knows the Bank of Industry can and will provide the required funding. BOI supported him to acquire a massive jumbo reel production machine and much more. The Bank of Industry's intervention at Macdon Industries Limited has been sustained over the years, holding them by the hand through the thick and thin.
Macdon Industries Nigeria Limited is into paper recycling. We recycle paper to tissue. And also into conversion, because we said we provide raw materials to toilet tissue industries. We provide raw materials. We recycle in a big room. Then the people that is producing the toilet tissue will come and buy and start cutting it in their own sizes and put their own label.
Tell me about your engagement with the Bank of Industry. Was it a rough encounter? Was it
No, they're very smooth. The encounter is very, very smooth. The encounter with BOI is very, very smooth.
Eventually, you got the fund from the Bank of Industry. Tell me the purpose of that fund. How was it deployed?
The purpose of the fund is to buy the machineries. As I was saying before, I said the time we were doing the proposal, we didn't put the installation as something that it would be hard. The money they gave to us is to buy the machineries, which we brought into Nigeria. And in bringing the machineries in Nigeria, we also find out that because of the location of the place, the water that's needed in this factory, the water that will be moving out from the factory will be excess that we will let the masses outside. We now started looking at how do we now reduce the quantity of water that will go out from the factory. Then as Chinese said, they have equipments. That one is another special factory. You will see it. Where water will be recycled. Instead of all the water you are using going out as waste, you now recycle the water. The water will now come back, you use it again, until the water now started being so much dirty before you flush it out. So we now went back to BOI and tell them this is what. They will say there's nothing we can do. We have to procure the machines, because if we start removing all the water we are getting from this factory, we may have problem with the public. We now process the documents to import the equipments for water recycling. Because assuming that we just start the factory like that, at the end of the day, some people outside will go to court, close the factory, because the water that is coming out from your factory is destroying even the farmland. So we have to get the what is called water recycling. You recycle water to become the new one before you use it again. So all this is a very big challenges we have at the time we want to start this factory.
This machine that the Bank of Industry assisted you to acquire, what does it do? What's the capacity?
The capacity of the machine they gave to us is 10 tons. 10 tons capacity for a day. But this company provided 5 tons. 5 tons is from personal money of the company, making a total of 15 tons. But the BOI gave us money for 10 tons. We recycle paper to tissue. Waste paper we recycle to tissue. Our job is to provide raw materials to toilet industries, toilet rolls industries. To provide own raw materials. You know, all these people that is doing toilet tissues, they are not the people producing the tissue itself. They can only buy from us and go and start converting at the small size. And this type of factory is very, very scarce in Nigeria because of the type of capital intensive.
Tell me about the size of your customer base because of this capacity.
But my customer base, if we are producing up to 100 tons of jumbo in this factory, we have all these eastern areas. This is the only place they are buying it now, the whole eastern state. Even people from Abuja is coming here to buy, because you can only get it in Lagos. Lagos and yes, Lagos. So if you find out that all this tissue, most tissue that we are producing is being used by these eastern areas. East, south, and everybody, all the customers are the people that is buying. Instead of going to Lagos, they now branch here. So even if we are producing up to 100 tons in a day, it's not even okay to satisfy our customers.
What's your current production capacity?
It's 15 tons per day.
Give me a sense of how that recycler works and how many people operates that machine from end to end.
The operation of the machines, at least, we have about what is called 3 lines. We have 3 lines of 5 tons each. We have paper recycling area. At least in the 5 tons, at least we will get up to at least 10 people that will be operating in each shift, because we are running about 3 shifts. Each machine 10. That's 30 for the 3 machines, 5 tons each for the operation. And the mechanical, because we have some mechanical people that will stand by, watching at the operation of the machine. We have people that is in charge of operating. Everybody has his own or her own department.
So let's talk more about this fund. What's the tenure of the fund, and how are you doing with repayment? What's the structure?
So the tenure of the facilities, I think, is about 4 years. 4 years with a year monitoring. That is 5 years. And as I told you, we have some challenges when we're trying to start. At the end of the day, the facility was restructured. We went for the working capital. At the end of the day, working capital was provided to us, and we have started, full operation. But later on, about 3 months ago, we have some big challenges.
What are your challenges?
For the past 3 months, we're having difficulties in getting the oil. And what are we using the oil to do? To power our boiler. And the boiler is the main engine of this factory. Without boiler, nothing will work. So the challenges we are getting now is where do we get the oil to power the boiler? So along the line, we now consulted the Chinese people they have now get boiler that can use charcoal or wood or anything. Instead of searching for black oil, you know wood is everywhere. You can get wood, the power boiler, and it will guarantee you 24 hours production. But this black oil or LPFO, we best. You can produce 1 week to then, after 1 week, you will start looking for the oil again. You will shut down the factory. And you know, once you shut the factory 1 day, it's something. Talk less of shutting 5 days looking for LPFO to power your boiler. So already we have told the bank, see how you can help us to procure that boiler that uses charcoal and wood, so that it will not guarantee us 24 hours production. We will not have any problem to say we stop production because the wood is everywhere. You can gather wood, power your boiler, the production will continue.